Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Full Frontal Living podcast. And today I've got a really special and exciting guest on. This was a lady that I met when was it? Callan, February.
February, yep.
In Tulum, we had a very deep, soulful conversation while standing in the ocean, which is where, you know, big things happen in my life when I'm standing in the ocean in Tulum. And I wanted to bring her on the podcast because she is really one of the leading females. I want to, highlight that. One of the leading females in the AI space right now. AI is here. It's not going away. It's moving very, very quickly. And I really knew nothing about it until I met Callan. So we're going to talk a little bit about my journey with AI, welcome you into that world. Callan has such a beautiful way of making AI not scary, not feel like, the apocalypse is coming with it, which is what I thought. This is going to take down society. It's not. It's going to be so much fun. So, Callan, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
Amazing. Well, I am so happy to be here, Lisa. Our little ocean convo is one of my favorite things ever. And for anyone listening that has not put their feet in the ocean and like thought about life recently, you should do that
Yeah.
because downloads come through. My name is Callan Faulkner. I am the founder of the Uncommon Business. And it's funny when I explain what I do at a party, it's like, who am I talking to? I would explain myself to just the layman's person who doesn't really understand to get them excited as one of the world's leading AI coaches, helping people understand how they can work smarter, not harder, how they can collapse time and create more quantum leaps by actually implementing AI the right way. But I think when I zoom out at what I'm really doing is I'm really helping people activate themselves to their highest potential, and AI just happens to be the easiest way to do that. So I've been in technology my whole career. I saw ChatGPT a few years ago and just had that full body yes right away. And now we run AI education and we help people implement it the right way. It's been really fun.
You were working in real estate before, weren't you? Real estate
I
investing?
was, yeah. So I did this thing where I graduated college and I went right to work. I was in sales, so I was working for a marketing technology consulting firm, and then I went to go work for a CRM consulting firm. We did big Salesforce implementations. I was a VP of sales. I was designing systems. I love efficiency. I love, like, if I see someone working on Excel docs, I'm like, what is going on? You are wasting time. We need to migrate you to the 21st century. So the process of efficiency has always been something I've been obsessed with just because I think people work way too hard. And I saw that, even in college, I see people study. I'm like, oh my God, you are trying so hard. Why are you trying so hard? You can do it in a much easier way if you have the right systems in place. Um, and then I saw all my friends flipping houses on the weekends, and I was like, I should probably do that. And I also saw the people. I'm very motivated by money, which I'm not sad to say now because I understand that I have big goals around impact. So I want to be able to have resources. And I saw that I don't know, the people that make money or the guys that make money all do real estate. So I was like, okay, well, I need to do real estate. So I started a land investing business, and I did land because I can barely hang a picture frame. So I'm like, there is no way I'm going to be taking down walls and cabinets. So land seemed a lot more reasonable. There's no remodeling. Got into my land investing business and pretty quickly realized that my soul was being sucked out of my body doing that business, doing those deals. It was fine. It was fun. The community of land investors is amazing, like the most wonderful people ever. They started asking me questions about how did you set that system up? How are you getting them to e-sign documents? I'm like, DocuSign? They're like, can we pay you to set that up? I was like, you absolutely can pay me to set up DocuSign. That is not a problem. So that was the birth of my consulting business. And then I saw the ChatGPT demo and I went on a mastermind with Renee Warren, who's a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
Did a hypno breathwork session, came out of it, and knew I needed to shut everything down and go all in on AI. And that was February of 2024. So about 16 months ago.
Wow. So, what does going all in mean? So, obviously, you were drawn to AI because of the efficiency of it. But you're a real master at speaking to AI. So maybe start there with what does this even look like? Which I have to say that now that I've gotten my fingers into AI, I realize that I'm actually very, very good at prompts because I'm very
Yeah,
good at asking questions.
exactly. You're
And
such
I
a good
know how
communicator.
to think around things. However, one of the
Right.
things that I will say about AI that gives me pause, and we can talk about this in a little bit, is it's often way too agreeable.
Yep.
It's very
And
much a very much a pleaser, which is problematic.
you know what I say though, Lisa, is
Tell
that
me.
humans are also agreeable and humans want to pander you. Like if you call a friend right now, just a miscellaneous
Yeah.
friend, most friends are not going to tell you what you don't want to hear. They're not going to tell you, hey, you know what? You keep complaining about your boyfriend, but you know who's the problem is you. You're really, you actually would probably say that to me, and I probably would say that to you because
Mhm.
I've gotten to the level of saying the things, and that's why you're hired
Yeah.
because no one's friends are telling them what they actually want to hear. So it's funny because AI is just a mirror. It wants to
Right.
make you happy. It wants to give you the answer. If you go in and you say, here's what's happening with my boyfriend or girlfriend. They're being so annoying. They're not giving me any attention. I should break up with them, right? AI is going to say, yeah, you should. And your friend's going to say that too.
Right.
Harder question is I want you to be Dr. John Gottman, world class marriage counselor, studied thousands of marriages, understands what patterns lead to success, what patterns lead to divorce. You don't have to tell AI that it already knows who Dr. John Gottman is. I'm going to explain a situation right now with my partner. I'm going to give you, here's all the context. Here's what's happening. Every morning I wake up, my partner is already out the door. They leave the kitchen a mess, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Explain the whole situation. I need you to help me through this situation. And I don't want you to tell me just what I want to hear. I want to see the situation from the perspective of my inner child, from the perspective of my partner and his or her inner child. I want to hear what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, all the different angles of the situation, and ultimately guide me to a place where I can have a conversation with my partner in a very loving way. And then also help me build a text message so I can send a message to them this morning, letting them know I love them, but also letting them know I want to have this conversation. Please ask me clarifying questions. Who would go to their friend and say that? Literally nobody.
Nobody. This is why people pay coaches. So here's where, like, this conversation is going to be interesting, right? Because I swing in circles. That's probably not the right term. I'm in circles of men and women who are doing their work, so to speak. They've invested a lot of time and money into knowing that there's so many more perspectives available to them. They've worked on
Mm,
things, the wounds, whatever we want to call them, right? Like even the pleaser wound, right? I've done years and years of work on that. Um, General population, though, is never going to know to ask those questions of AI.
mm-hmm.
So how problematic is that in the future when we've got people asking AI questions, but not really knowing how to ask questions or who even John Gottman is?
Right. It's such a good question, Lisa. And if we look at the playing field right now of life,
Yeah.
who the winners of life are, and winners is a loose term, right? Just who is ultimately feeling joy, feeling happiness is also like Oprah can't define happiness. Everyone has a different understanding of happiness. But let's just say the ultimate goal of life is to find joy, find happiness, find our soul's potential, and like live in a state of gratitude and joy for the world. Great. Getting to that level requires you to do the work. What is the work? The work is understanding your own traumas, your own triggers, you have to learn how to regulate your own emotions. You have to learn how to regulate your nervous system. You have to learn who these experts are. You have to study. You have to go to YouTube. You have to hire a coach and learn the power of now and who Eckhart Tolle is and who Joe Dispenza is and who John Gottman is. And you have to learn how to ask really hard questions and ask hard questions of yourself and journal and go in and do all this stuff. It has nothing to do with AI. It has to do with the work. If you're willing to do that work and actually understand how to communicate, you will level up in this game of life that's ultimately like a video game that we're all playing that we're trying to navigate. I explain AI right now as like we're all in the Tour de France. Some riders are using steroids and some are not. The bad riders are suddenly like getting ahead. What's going to happen is that eventually everyone in the Tour de France starts using steroids. So the good riders still win. My argument is that I think Lance Armstrong probably would have won. with or without steroids, because everyone's everyone's doing it.
Right.
So this is, again, the work that you do for your clients.
Yeah.
They're going to win even more. AI is just going to collapse time around
So
getting to.
it's really fascinating because, I said before we hopped on, I was just at a conference in Santa Fe with a room full of coaches. And a lot of people are freaking out that this is going
Mm-hmm.
to, AI is going to eliminate their jobs. And,
Yeah,
my perspective is my job isn't going anywhere because nobody knows how to ask questions and
that's
the way
right.
to ask questions or take people's
100%.
place. You can't go on AI because you don't even know the questions to
That's
ask.
exactly right.
And having gone through my own, massive wake up moments in life, as you have as well, we don't even know that the questions to ask ourselves.
That's
Like, I
exactly
had to
right.
go to my own coach and say, hold on here, help me
Yeah,
see what's going on. I couldn't have
yeah,
gone to AI to ask that question because I didn't know the questions to ask.
that's right. That's right. And you don't even, just like, you said, people don't even know who Dr. John Gottman is. They don't even know who Eckhart Tolle is, or they don't know these frameworks. They don't know these systems. They don't know that an emotion is only supposed to last 90 seconds in the body and your thoughts are what's actually keeping it there. They don't know any of this information. So you are going to be able, and you already are, introducing them to world-class systems and frameworks in your intellectual property that has already collapsed time around healing. But now you're going to be able to do that with AI. And again, the winners are still going to win. Your business is you are just going to be able to get them from A to B faster and then maintain them, but your systems will keep them there. You can't just use ChatGPT to regulate your nervous system. What are you going to do? Oh, help me. It's going to be like, here, breathe in, breathe out try box breathing. Like, nice. That's great. That might get me out of a traumatic situation, but are we talking about 6 to 12 months of healing from a 25-year marriage? That's not going to happen using it. ChatGPT's number one source of information is Wikipedia. So for most people, that's what they're going to get. They're going to say, how do I heal from a marriage? Well, you should start getting out. Go on Tinder. Like, that's some of these answers you're going to get, right? You're going to get crap answers.
Yeah.
And the problem now is that people are writing their content with this, they're creating frameworks with this using crap answers. And that's why I say the winners are still going to win, because they're not going to settle for that type of stuff. They're going to hire a Lisa Carpenter to say, I'm not going to settle for Wikipedia answers. I want
Right.
experts.
What I found is so interesting, as a solo entrepreneur, I do have a team, but now working with Claude and with Chat, it's like having an assistant with me. And because I don't want to take just the pleasing answer. I'm like, this doesn't sound good. This doesn't sound right. This is,
Mm-hmm.
oh yes, you're right. Like it's still very pleasing. But it's been really fun to be able to collapse time around my content, right? Because I've loaded a bunch of my content up there. It's been able to help me pull out frameworks that I wasn't able to see about myself. Um, but it's also been able to bring me clarity when I'm trying to like pull, like, I've got this big idea. How do I distill it down? Because you are
Yes.
somebody who is very like productivity systems. Systems are not my strength. So
Yeah.
now it's like having this personal assistant that systems are its strength once I learn how to program it. And I don't think that people are understanding the power of that. So can you talk a little bit about prompts, how people
Yeah.
can use it to their benefit, whether they're an entrepreneur or, a mom trying to organize her household?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what you just said, I think is really important, is that AI is so great at taking chaos and turning it into clarity. I will give a couple examples. So the first example is even just this past weekend for Mother's Day. I sat down to write my note to my mom, and I had the writer's block. And one of my rules is that we don't start from scratch. If anything, I start with AI interviewing me just to spark me. So that's what I did. I went into AI and I said, I'm sitting down to write my Mother's Day note for my mom. I want it to be a note that she remembers forever. I want her to feel loved. I want it to feel like she really understands how grateful I am for her and all the love she's given me. Please interview me with 5 questions so that we can extract some fun memories and stories that I can include in my note. And it started getting really specific. It said, give me an example of a time and as a child where your mom made you feel so loved. And it started to spark these memories of her cooking meals when I would be done with soccer practice. And then I used my transcription. I just talked, I answered all the questions, and I said, if you notice any connections here or anything that could start to create a connection to my life now, feel free to give me your response. It came back and it said, because ChatGPT knows I'm an entrepreneur, it knows I run a business, it said, it sounds like your mom actually taught you how to build a system of care. And it sounds like your mom actually taught you how to receive. And chat was like, it's probably the reason why it's so easy for you to delegate, because she taught you that receiving help made you stronger. And I was like getting teary. I'm like, you're 100% right. It is so easy for me to ask for help. I always have, because my whole life, my mom was such a caretaker, and she had systems and she had tutors, and she was like, whatever you need, the private coach. And I feel so lucky. And I think it's my biggest advantage right now as a business leader and a partner in a relationship. I have a house manager. I have a cleaner. Anyways, I would have never gotten there without AI. Did AI think of some random thing? No, it extracted all this out of me, cleaned it up, made it clear. Same thing happened when I sat next to an author on a plane. You've probably heard this story already.
It's a
Sat
great
next to this
story. Tell
woman,
it.
Pam. I will. So I was on the plane and I'm sitting next to this woman. I'm feeling creator universe nudge me and tell me you need to tell her about AI. And I was in middle seat, which is very unusual for me. I'm usually aisle. Like, I do not want to be this person. I did it anyways. I started having this conversation and she's like, oh, I AI is kind of like cheating, so I'm not really a big fan. And that's when I'm my background's sales. So I was like, ooh, this is gonna be good. We are gonna go at it here. So I said, well, hey, what do you do for a living? She said, I'm an author. I said, okay, what's your name? My name's Pam. Amazing. Well, you don't know me, Pam, but I am one of the world's leading AI coaches. And if you would be willing to give me like 20 minutes, I think I can change your perspective. Well, 20 minutes turned into 2.5 hours. We were flying from Minneapolis to Naples, and she was working on a memoir. She's been working on it for 6 years, and it's about her son's speech impediment. And he was born. First couple of years couldn't speak. They went through all of this therapy, and it turns out he her voice was actually not being used, and she wasn't speaking out. She wasn't speaking the real authentic truths, and so it's this whole story. I spent the first 45 minutes asking AI to ask her questions. I said, AI, you are a world class book writing coach. You have helped thousands of people have New York Times bestsellers. What are the 20 questions you would have for Pam? Here's a short excerpt of her story. I recorded it. I grabbed the transcript. I brought it back into Claude. And luckily, I had just gone to a book writing seminar. So I had some concepts of like how to write a book, which was really helpful. Again, I'm not relying on Wikipedia to tell me how to write a book. I had, okay, you have to do this and you have to do character development. Then you have to do this. So we worked through the steps, character development, chapter outline. And there was a moment where it was Claude, took all of this information and brought back a moment of, hey, Pam, I don't know if you realize this, but when you walked over that bridge with your sister, it relates to the entire story. The whole story is a bridge. And she lost it. She started sobbing. So, same kind of story. It took her brilliance and it clarified it down. And it actually extracted amazing parts of the story that she would have never saw herself, because there was just so much. There's so much to the story. So, we say that because the people who learn to use AI to articulate, well, even just being able to articulate their desires, articulate their dilemmas, articulate these deep feelings, will unlock exponential clarity and results, whether that's in your life, your relationship, I need to make a meal plan and I don't even know where to start. I am on this new diet. Here's a transcript with my health coach, or I want to try to get 200 grams of protein a day. I have no idea how to do that. That is the best part about AI, is a lot of times we're not even using it to find the information. We're just using it to clarify the information we already have inside us.
So wild. So like it's been so, again, mind-blowing for me, just in all the different ways that I've now used it that I never thought to use it. Like I was saying before we hit record, my nemesis is cooking. So I'm super clean, healthy eater. It's just part of my lifestyle, right? But I mean,
Yep.
I was making meal plans back in the day when there was no macro tracker. We had an
Oh,
Excel spreadsheet and we had to go out and find the information, right? Like this is how long ago it was. And now to be able to just put in like, here's my macros. Can you build me a meal plan, please, based on this? Split it into 5 meals. This is how I want it to look,
yep.
and it'll just do it.
And here's what I have in my fridge. Yep. And then let me know anything you want. And here's 3 recipes I found online. Yep. And then build me a grocery list by department. Yeah.
Absolutely. I did
No.
that for our Easter dinner. I was having
So
everybody
good.
for dinner, and I remembered, oh, Callan said that she uses it to plan out the whole dinner. So I said, this is what I want.
Yeah.
These are the type of foods I want. This is how many people. Gave me a
Yep.
grocery list.
Yeah.
Gave me like I said, can you please? This is a thing for me, right? The potatoes are done and the turkey's not. This is my life, right? The carrots are ready. We're eating in shifts. I'm like, can you time it all for me
Yes.
so that it all lands on the
It's all
table
warm
at
at the
six
same
o'clock
time.
at the same time? I mean, it was just mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
Let's just simply go into the fridge and say, I have no idea what to put together tonight. This is
Yeah.
what I have in my fridge. And then it'll say, well, what kind of flavor do you want? Mexican? Do you want Greek? Do you want? And I, it has streamlined, it's the equivalent for me of like when before COVID, I was able to order my groceries online and have them delivered. And I felt like I was ahead of the curve, right? Because people are like, no, I still need to do my grocery shopping. I'm like, someone else can pick my groceries. I'm not that particular about my veggies.
I
This
swear.
has been the equivalent of that in terms of
Yeah.
how much time it saved me
Yeah.
just for getting things done.
Yeah.
So, in saying all that, give us maybe some lesser known tools that people would not even think about with AI. Because the point of this conversation is I want my listeners to be like, wow, I never even considered that I could use it that way.
Totally. So we'll stick inside of the big large language models and then we'll go outside of it. So everyone has probably heard of Chat GPT. That's the first large language model that came to market. It doesn't mean it's the best one. There are many other large language models. The large language model I find myself using actually the most is called Claude. So Claude is CLAUDE.ai. If you look at the large language model rankings, Claude is the best for content. So I use Claude quite a bit for content. And then Perplexity is amazing for research. It always verifies its sources. I've actually been using Grok quite a bit recently. That's Twitter, X's,
Okay.
large language model, amazing to search on Reddit and X threads. So for Twitter threads. So if I'm looking for, what was I doing the other day? I was looking at affordable blood work strategies. My Lord, it's hard to get blood work done. And I was like, look on Reddit threads to find really affordable blood work strategies in the United States. And it found a bunch of Reddit threads. And so consumer information is great. For our life, I think a couple things. Number one, what you just talked about and what these examples I'm going to give, I want you guys to think about the offloading of creating of brain space. Like that's ultimately what we're doing because your brain is not meant to hold information. It is meant to move information through. And when we get to the place where we are holding all of this information in our brain, the carrots and then the green beans and then the potatoes and then I need to go to the grocery store and do this, this, and this. Are you going to have a productive day at work the day before doing that? Absolutely not, because you're just too much in the brain. So let's just think about things that are holding space in the brain. Number one, any sort of conversation, things that you have of any sort of human to human disconnection or conflict, I say do not hold that. Put that directly into AI. And if you don't know who you want AI to be, I always want AI to be someone, or else it's going to use Wikipedia as its source. So tell it your situation. This is what's happening with this person, my employee, my friend, my partner, whatever. What is a thought leader or a person that could really help me through this situation? Maybe it's the author of Crucial Conversations. Maybe it's the author of what is some sort of culture book, who not how, who knows, something like that. I usually use Dr. John Gottman for relationships. Find your thought leader that regulates that helps you regulate that situation. Get that out, like move it. You don't have to call someone, just get out, start talking to AI. I love it for anytime I'm triggered, like anytime I'm having any sort of body reaction to anything, I'm going in there to talk about it. Have it be Brene Brown. Have it be the author of Body Keeps the Score. Have it be Joe Dispenza. If we're getting more into like life systems, obviously anything to do with meals, food, think about mom stuff, chore lists, schedule planning. Hey, I'm doing a 5-year-old birthday party. I need to reverse engineer. I'm 3 days out. What are all the things I need to do? In the morning, what I will do is I'll go into ChatGPT, I'll go for a walk, and ChatGPT knows that Shelly is my house manager. Howard is my executive assistant. Nicole is my girlfriend. Kate is my mom. So it knows all of the people. And so I will go in the morning. It knows Kinsey's marketing, et cetera, et cetera. And I will just have it be Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work. He's a productivity expert. And I will have Cal Newport interview me questions one by one to brain dump every single thing that's happening in my life that I need help with. And then at the end, I'll just say, write a message to each of the people that need to be delegated these tasks. And it is amazing because again, we hold so much that we need to get information out to people, but we like, oh my God, how am I going to Shelly needs to go get me a wrench. Like, how am I going to get that to her? Everything to do with, I know I talk about relationship a lot, but just the weekly check-ins that we have, goal setting, planning, honestly, let's think about my packing list for LA or the schedule, or I mean, it's honestly infinite. So it is hard to.
Well, I had Macy took Jake, my youngest. So my partner took my youngest to Portugal for a trip. And he was having anxiety about how he was going to plan this trip. And I'm like, well, just go into Claude or chat and ask them to act as a high-level travel concierge. Tell them you're traveling with a 14-year-old. This is where you're starting. This is where you're ending. And what type of activities would be best for you? And he was like, what? And it literally spat out a whole agenda. And I mean, obviously he can change it and tweak it, but it gave him a framework to start from, which made life so much easier.
It's so good, isn't it? It's like
It is. But I'm going to tell you about the dark side for me.
Oh, I love dark side. Yep, hit it.
So as somebody who probably is a little bit ADHD, self-diagnosed, if something goes in a drawer, I don't see it. AI is like, it's so fun for me. Give me a this, give me a that, right? I now have a folder of all the things that I want to do that I'm not getting to. So I've had to really step back and go, Lisa, how much time have you wasted creating this, that, and the other thing that you're not actually executing on? Because the idea is there. So I'm like, ooh, I need to talk to it about this. Help me build out this, blah, 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 right? Like I've got quizzes right now. I've got opt-ins right now. Callan, hours of wasted time on stuff
Well,
that's
my
not being executed.
question for you is,
Oh,
do you
no.
feel like you have had this habit before AI where you have a lot of ideas and unfinished ideas
Because
sitting
I
there?
didn't have the ability to structure things, no, I just wouldn't
Okay.
do them. So now it's giving me the opportunity, like I've got all this content, right? So I'm like, give me some ideas here. This is what I want. And then I'm down the rabbit hole with it. So
So,
that's something I'm having to manage.
well, you're also a visionary, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that your job is to start a project or finish the project?
It's get it started and then hand it off.
That's right. So I think you are doing exactly what you need to be doing, where you are coming up with these amazing ideas, and then your team's job is to help prioritize. So we follow EOS internally,
Right. Okay.
entrepreneurial operating system. Every 90 days, we meet with our EOS integrator. We have a whole meeting, we block a full day, and all of these ideas, which are called rocks in
Yes.
the EOS language, get put on the whiteboard. And I have all my ideas. I want an AI chatbot on the website. I want you can text the AI. I want these 4 lead magnets. I want redo all of our lead magnets. Goes all on the board, all on the board. And then I don't do any of those things. That is not Lisa's job. Lisa's job is to have all the ideas, put it all on the board, and then as a team, we decide what the rocks are for the next 90 days.
Right.
Are we going to redo the website in the next 90 days? Is that actually a priority? Is that going to move the needle? Is that what we need right now? Yes, no, no. Okay, it's going to go in the rocks parking lot. And that parking lot might have 150 things in there. And until you hire another person or until you get more people on your team, those things are just going to sit in the parking lot. But your job is not to do those things. It's
to
just great.
create.
Create, and then the team needs to, your right hand is going to help you prioritize and then figure out who's actually going to do
It's a very good tip for someone like me. Yeah, because I assume like if I create, we need to go produce.
No. Well, yeah, and that's my team pushes back on me a lot now because as we're getting bigger, it's becoming like a bigger boat. Like turning a cruise ship is a
Yeah.
lot harder than turning a jet ski. And before I was on a jet ski and now I'm on like a mid-sized yacht. I wouldn't say we're a cruise ship yet, but we're
I don't know. I think you're probably getting close to a cruise
we're
ship.
getting closer. We're getting closer. But it's just harder for me to hop in on a Zoom and be like, guys, we need XYZ. They'd be like, cute, like put that on the ideas list. Like now they just push back on me
Yeah.
because they know that that's just not, that's going to, so, or they'll say, okay, well, we're just going to shut this entire other project down. Are you cool with that? I'm like, oh, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. No, nope, don't want to do that. So that's, but they manage my issue.
Oh, so good. Well, this is just like, I feel like we've just touched the tip of the iceberg, but I want to be mindful of your time and the listeners. Tell everybody where they can find you. So I did your AI Foundations course, which blew my mind. Oh,
Mm,
and then I've signed up for your Automate to Accelerate, which I'll be doing the replays on that because unfortunately I can't be on live.
yep.
And I'm sure that my head is going to explode yet again because Callan so over delivers in the amount of information. Even the free workshops you did leading up to your big launch of Automate to Accelerate, where the feedback I was getting from the people that I referred to it, like,
Mm.
holy crap. I'm like, I told you, I told you. So, where can people go to find out about these programs if they want to get started and learn?
Mm. I love it. Well, thank you, Lisa. And anyone that comes, I will say, if you come to one of my free things, you will not be disappointed. That's one of my values is way over deliver on all of our free stuff. The way for sure is to follow me on Instagram, which is Callan Faulkner.
Okay.
That always has the latest links, up to date. What are we doing? When are we doing it? Um, you can join the waitlist for Automate to Accelerate. That is our 10-week AI training course. We're doing another one in the fall. So October of 2025 is our next one. And that is what Lisa is in right now. And it is so much fun. If you go to the uncommonbusiness.co, you just hit work with us and then scroll down to join the waitlist. You can join the waitlist there. Um, and then yeah, just follow me. I try to do a lot of like tips and tricks. And I think what I'll say to anyone that's like, oh my God, this feels overwhelming is that communicate, like we kind of even touched on in the beginning, communicating with AI in a great way is all about your ability to learn how to talk. We are learning a new language. We're learning a new side of communication. And I also am rewiring your brain. And I say this because I've had friends that have gone through the entire Automate to Accelerate program and they kind of paid attention a little bit and they got out of it. And then I see them on their computer. I just happened to a friend. She was manually writing in her manually writing a sales page. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh my God, I should be using AI. I'm like, yeah, what? What? It's crazy. So just give yourself grace that this is going to be, it's going to take a little bit of time, but just put a little post-it note, maybe you're on your computer. Could AI help me with this? Because I think of it as like we talk all the time, right? Oh, I want to spend time with my kids. I want to lean into my life. I want to create space. And then you just go back to doing the same crap you've done over and over again, starting things from scratch, trying to do everything yourself. And there is a tool here for $20 a month that can take significant bandwidth off of your plate. And we're just not using it because we're scared. So
Yeah.
that's
It's,
my
I
idea.
mean, it's literally amazing. And you don't have to, like, I think that people think like, oh, what AI spits out, I have to use that. AI spits it back to me, the sales page, and then I go back and forth with it 4 or 5. I'm like, we're going to edit this section by section until I get it to where I want it to be.
Can we
Like,
touch on that for 1 second?
yeah,
Because this is really, really important. There are going to be two types of people that come out of the next, well, this part of life where AI is coming in. There's going to be the lazy AI person. And that's what's coming out right now. Is
yeah,
the person that goes in and they put their little prompt in there and they say, can you create a sales page? And it creates a sales page and it's crappy. And it's like the words are so robotic and it's using words like revelation and oasis. And it makes me want to kind of throw up, but it's fine because they just want to get the project done. Well, that's how they operate their entire life, right? They're always creating C plus content. They're always not checking their work. They're not using their intuition to make sure that this work they are proud of. This is the work that they would show to anyone and just be like, look at this. I am so proud of what I've created. So there's two, that's the lazy AI person. The second person is the actual AI architect. They're the one that is understanding how to build with AI, and they're using AI from a place of integrity and alignment with their highest self. And they're combining it with their emotional intelligence and their inner wisdom to say, just like you said, like, I'm going to go section by section on this. Like, sure, it's 70% there, but I would never say it like that. Like, oh, that sentence just doesn't resonate with me. AI is a co-creator with that person, and they are using it, and they would never give work that hasn't been reviewed and pressure tested by AI, and they would never give work that hasn't been reviewed and pressure tested by the human lens. So that is the person that no one on my team is not an AI architect. Like, there is no one that's working with me from our virtual assistants in the Philippines to my right hands. There's no one that doesn't know how to use AI, because if they don't, I'm just blowing money into the wind by paying their salary. And that's why I'm so obsessed with training the human being on how to use it and not settle for crap outputs.
And this is why I love you so much. And this is why it's so easy for me to refer people to you, because I really do believe you are one of the best at what you do, Callan, how you're
Thank you,
bringing
Lisa.
this to the world. And I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody seems to be an AI trainer these days.
There's
I'm
a
just
lot of them.
like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. So make sure you go and check out Callan's work. I will put all the links in the, what do we call those things? Show notes. I will put all the
Show
links in
notes.
the show
Show
notes.
notes.
So you can check
Amazing.
it out. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me personally as well. And I'm happy to give you, um, what it's been like to work with Callan. But I'm so grateful that you came into my life. I'm so grateful we had that
Mm.
conversation standing in the ocean in Tulum. I love you so
Love you
much.
too.
And thanks for
Love you
spending your
too.
time with me this morning. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Lisa. You're the
All right.
best.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And I'll catch everybody else on the next episode.